Severe weather will be ramping up in the coming days. But to start with, we'll look at the current hazards here, and then we're going to review the Storm Prediction Center outlooks, go over some medium and short range model guidance, as well as some experimental model guidance showing severe probabilities. So let's get started here with the hazardous weather outlook. So interestingly enough, we have frost and freeze advisories in the eastern U.S. here, all the way up to Michigan, all the way down to northern Georgia. Storm system exit in the northeast, and some rainfall from left over from the cold front pushing the south in southern Florida this morning. Okay, some red flag warnings up here in northern high plains, and some wind advisories here in California, Nevada, and red flag warning and winter storm watch up here into Wyoming as well. All right, and looks like heat advisory in the Portland area. Interesting. So we'll review that as well with the potential for really hot temperatures out west as we get towards the end of next week as the ridge builds in out to the west. So to start off with, let's review the severe probabilities for today, starting with the SBC outlook. We do have a marginal risk, categorically speaking, here centered on St. Louis, Missouri, back towards Kansas City, with general thunderstorms in the light green areas, UP, Michigan, northern high plains out to the Intermountain West and out to the west as well. All right, so that's the categorical risk. No, less than 2% tornado chance today. Wind risk is quite low as well. 2% chance in the same area of winds exceeding 50 knots or 58 miles per hour within 25 miles of a given location. Man, we're saying that a lot this year so far. Hail risk is roughly in the same area with a 5% hail risk as well, which means you could get 1-inch hail today. So what does the experimental GFS portal say about this today? Here it is. You see the 500 millibar trough off to the east here. What looks like maybe a perturbation in the flow will be moving through here. And here's where your severe threat is. And you have this trough swinging through the southeast, right? We get into tomorrow. But we also see this trough out west here. Okay, this 500 millibar low. That starts to swing in here off the west coast here. And we get some height rises just to the east. Low pressures at the mid-levels down to the south. Pretty calm weather here at this point. And here's the severe probabilities for tomorrow as this deep trough swings back through. And eventually these two troughs, these two 500 millibar features will merge and become a stronger storm system as it moves to the east here. And here's your marginal risk level 1 out of 5 severe probabilities for tomorrow. Generally from Kansas City towards Chicago, Indiana, Ohio, back towards Madison, Milwaukee, Des Moines. All right. Tornado risk is quite low tomorrow as well. Wind risk, marginal risk of severe winds, 5% in this area, pretty much encompassing the whole outlook area for tomorrow, and hail risk as well. So 2 days of marginal severe weather conditions, and then we move into day 3. Let's take a look at that. Now we have a slate risk down here, a level 2 out of 5 for Tuesday. Okay, today's day 1. Day 2 is tomorrow. Day 3 is Tuesday. I'm kind of saying that myself too. So you see this severe threat is more oriented this way. Okay, so you got a trough stream through, the other one moving through this way, right? And so you got a cold front pushing this way. So the forcing accompanied with this cold front will likely lead to a more either semi-discrete or linear, which means along the cold front, parallel to the cold front storm mode. Although where a triple point sets up, where the surface low develops, we could have more potential for tornadoes and the dry line. So you have a triple point with dry line, cold front, surface low developing here. Wherever that sets up, I likely have the highest tornado potential, right? So we have the 2 out of 5 risk here towards McKinney, Texas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Bentonville, Missouri. Let's see. Yeah, Muskogee back towards, and the marginal risk, look at 1 out of 5 down into southern Texas and into parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, and Missouri here. It covers also part of Oklahoma as well. So quite a large area here. And here's your probabilistic outlook, 15 and 5% any severe risk, right? So we don't know. They don't outline any details at this point. Now we go into day 4. That moves to the south and east. This is Wednesday now, okay? Wednesday, we have the severe threat here into Mississippi, Alabama, 15%, level 2 out of 5. Louisiana, Houston, Texas, back towards Austin. So anywhere in this area, you could have all hazards, right? But we don't know what those hazards will be. I won't be surprised if they outlook something further along here, day 5 and 6 in the northeast or somewhere in the southeast. And storm mode is dictated, and whether we get storms in the southeast dictated by the thermal profiles. Will we get enough instability and kinematics? So we'll see how this plays out. You can see with Monday's severe threat, the GFS Ensemble probabilities tool is outlining the possibility for some significant severe in parts of eastern Kansas here, right? The highest probabilities in this dark maroon area. And like I said, we got the shortwave ridging here, building in the plains in Intermountain West, the Trough here, another mid-level feature out over Florida. You see where the system is moving on shore here. Maybe some short waves moving through the flow. This mid-level ridging is kind of making stuff go this way. You see a different, maybe short wave moving through the flow here, okay? And these two systems are going to merge, like I talked about, become phased. All right, this is Tuesday. Wednesday, right, we got this feature here, this one here, a broad southwesterly flow here. But if we manage to get a short wave moving through, but it looks like the trough axis is back here, right? This will dictate severe weather chances down here. So, but the probabilities are relatively high here, especially in northern Louisiana. Okay, it's really hard to make out some of the stuff here. Let's take off the spaghetti plot. All right, there you go. All right, so let's move it into the next day, Thursday. See how the cold front and associated severe weather moves further to the south and east, and here are the probabilities for Thursday. Okay, put the spaghetti plot back on. You see why. Interestingly enough, the GFS wants to maintain this trough now out west. It actually doesn't phase. Yesterday, let's take a look here. Yesterday it was here as well. Interesting. Let's see what it does in previous runs. All right, well, we'll go back. It does keep it to the back a little bit. Let's see what happens with this. Thursday, Friday. It wants to keep it back here a little bit, interestingly enough. And kind of stretches out here is ridging builds out to the west. Kind of a northwest flow pattern here setting up right in the southeast. And yesterday, yeah, so as we get into the weekend and next week, you see what happens here. You have this weird ridge belting out west, and this wants to develop this deep trough, although not particularly strong, but strong northerly flow here at the mid-levels, which in this trough here, where this thing swings through, we could have thunderstorms develop, maybe severe weather, and maybe MCS type features moving through the flow here. All right, we talked about this. We get a little bit further out. Once we keep this trough along the eastern seaboard into the extended, and wherever this boundary sets up here between the low and high pressure, we could have thunderstorm, severe weather. likely MCS type features, MCV, mesoscale convective systems moving through the flow. And we get further out, becomes more uncertain, of course, with high pressure maybe shifting to the east by the 16th, which is 13 days from now, but not a lot of certainty at this point. Moving into Tuesday, we have an increasing chance for excessive rainfall also in Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee, parts of Kentucky, Columbus, Ohio, parts of Pennsylvania, Detroit, and parts of Illinois. But overall, not expecting extremely heavy rainfall amounts, 1 to 2 inches here. But they've had a lot of, y'all have had a lot of rain in this area, so that's likely why the threshold for excessive rainfall and flooding is higher. Go back to excessive rainfall. That threat moves further south and east here on Wednesday. So, and after that, they don't have anything outlined yet, but we could get something in the southeast depending on where the boundary sets up here. But it looks pretty progressive, so probably not that much of a flooding threat, especially since we haven't had much rain. Even though we did have some recently, we're still in a drought here, so we'll see what happens. So, you know, for the plains, the northern high plains, and out west here, we got really warm temperatures here, 10, 15 degrees above normal. All right, starting off today. The hot temperatures moved to the east here. We see the shortwave ridging was building here, right? And that cooler air is out to the in parts of California as well, and in the eastern part of the country also. Move a little bit further. The below normal temps are kind of pushed to the south here, and we maintain the below normal temps out west, but then the Intermountain West up in to the generally stuck here to, I guess you would say, the mountainous terrain out west, right, with cold air pulled up here to the north. That's going to be poised to move southward here, okay? Cold front pushes to the south, right? So we move forward with this a little bit more. Much colder temperatures east of the Rockies, warm above normal to the northeast, and still warm up here in Oregon, Washington State. Still cooler than average here in the southwest into the southwest portion of the country, right? And even Denver area, right? Look how cold it is there. Staying colder than normal for a while here, and warmer than normal, man, 20, 30 degrees above normal as you get towards May 8th, with this 5 days from now. We get that cold front that moves further to the east here. Still warmer than normal out west, maintaining that for the most part here. Geez, guys, 20, 30 degrees above normal here, 20 degrees plus. So we look at the actual temperatures, approaching 100 degrees in Las Vegas, Fresno, even Los Angeles. Let's take a look, 79, 80 degrees. Victoriaville, I mean, this is brutal. Let's go back a little bit. Mostly the desert areas, but the valleys here, man, 90s. Even into Texas, 90s here. 8 up to the north, relatively mild, but not too cold overall. Brutal temperatures in the desert southwest here. Wonder if we'll reach some records here. 104. Man, most of the country towards the end of the period looks to be relatively mild. So welcome to May, guys. Not expecting much more snow, except maybe in the higher terrain out here. But man, it's going to be hot out west. So be careful out there, guys, all right? As far as today's severe threat and overall future radar, with those storms moving through the southeast, I mean, into Florida, right? Maybe some storm move through Chicago. This powerful storm system is moving off the northeast. And looks like an MCS type feature, maybe, with some storms moving up into the UP and Michigan as well. You see on the north side of this? Pretty interesting feature, right? Maybe some thunderstorms way up here in the northern high plains. Severe threat for the I guess you would say the Midwest here. Doesn't really ramp up, it looks, according to HRRR, until the overnight hours, like 12 to 1 a.m. Okay, but in Florida here, you can see that the thunderstorms persist here in the overnight hours. So heavy rainfall and maybe some rotating storms right offshore here, some water spouts maybe. All right, so and out west here, California looks to be just unsettled weather as this mid-level feature moves on shore here. Maybe some snow up here. Let's look at the simulated radar. Yeah, in the higher terrain. And some snow in Denver maybe as we get towards the end of this run, right? Pretty cool. Maybe to just the north of Denver and parts of Wyoming and out west here. These storms down in Florida move off the coast. And we have another boundary setting up here into Tuesday. So go back to Monday. All right, so Monday, let's look at the severe threat. Overall severe threat is right here in the Midwest, Ohio Valley. All right, and parts of the Central Plains. Don't see much ramping up until maybe the surface low gets developing here. It depends where this sets up too. We could have potential for some tornadoes here if we do get enough moisture and instability here. But overall, looks like maybe the cold front, our boundaries setting up here. See the colder air up to the north. Moisture streaming into the desert southwest, which is pretty nice, right? Surface low developing here on the lee side of the Rockies. All right, so this is where this ends up into Tuesday morning. So here's your severe threat. So let's go a little further out. Look at the NAM 3 kilometer. All right. It still has a little bit of resolution and goes further out here. Surface low here. Snow out west. The colder air up to the north. Up just snow poised to move into the UP Michigan, looks like. All right, take the severe threat back off here. It looks like more of a stratiform type setup here, but let's go back to severe. Don't see a lot of indication of really rotating updrafts at this point. Tuesday, just overall messy at this point. It's a Tuesday at 2 p.m. That's as far as this NAM model goes out. Go a little bit further out with a NAM. Let's see. Next, this is the 12 kilometers, so it's not nearly as much resolution. All it has is the future radar, right? Snow on the backside here, and maybe severe weather getting going here Tuesday morning. But this is a little bit different than I don't know. It's kind of a broad. I don't know if that's going to be severe or not, but you see kind of a broad area here of convection because its resolution isn't not nearly as good. So, but overall, you get the idea. Maybe some snow back out here east of the Rockies, right? Which is not uncommon, right? Severe weather potentially moves to the south and east into Wednesday morning, and that's where this model ends up stopping. So that's as far as we're going to go with this. But you can see the trough here, broad southwesterly flow, all rainfall all the way up into parts of Nova Scotia here. All right, so you can see the deep flow coming from this way, right? East of the Rockies, and going like this. This would be pretty favorable for maybe a winter weather type event if we were in the winter, but for the southeast. But you can also see really this ridge really spiking out west here as we get towards the middle of the week. So that's why this is diving so far south. If we go to the GFS and show this, right? Let's go to anomalies for heights here. Ridge, deep ridge spiking all the way up here, very broad, deep trough here to the east. More troughiness, another mid-level feature here, another mid-level feature here, one up here, and this blocking high pressure up to the north. So expansive high pressure all around here. This moves off, kind of just loops around with blocking high pressure still here with this mid-level feature into Friday still remaining there, right? This maybe moves to the southeast into Sunday. You see that here on the GFS? Interesting pattern here. This blocking high, still keeping this from really moving, right? Broad troughiness east of the Rockies. And then you get this really, this high pressure building out west here. But the flow isn't nearly as north to south here. It's kind of keeping it from dipping, but you see right here, maybe a short wave moved through the flow into the 14th, right? So if we do get that, that's what we talk about with a ridge rider here. It moves through that northerly flow kind of, right? So we maybe get an MCS type feature or something moving through here if we get that far out. So troughiness looks to remain along the eastern seaboard, which usually brings unsettled weather and cooler temps, and maybe a resurgence of some warmer temps and high pressure as we get further out towards the 18th, and becomes more uncertain, right, at this point. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Appreciate y'all watching. I know this is a long video, but a lot to talk about today. Have a great day, and God bless y'all.